Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. So today I have with me Shuchona Ghosh, who is from Kolkata and has recently cleared RBI Grade B 2021 exam. Now for a change, she's not an engineer and she's not from a finance background and she's not having any work experience. She's MSc in biotechnology and she did did this MSc in biotechnology in 2019. But yes, she has been a UPSC aspirant, a moderate kind of preparation for 1 year, but then she started preparing for RBI just before the notification came in January 2021. And then I think uh, no need to say again that now she's an RBI Grade B officer. So first of all, I really welcome you, Shochona, to our channel.
Thank
And
you so much, sir.
my first question would be that how is the feeling? How is the environment in your house and within your family?
So I'm feeling very happy. Like I'm over the moon right now.
Hmm.
And it's been like I did not really believe that I would clear in the first attempt. Like I wanted to, but I people take quite a few years to do this.
Hmm.
But so I am really like
Hmm.
surprised and I'm really happy.
Hmm.
And I have like my parents are very happy. I've made them proud.
Hmm.
And like they're everyone is so like the response is kind of overwhelming. It's very good. Like I
Yeah.
it's a life changing thing to happen.
Can't be explained in the words.
No, 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 no.
But yes, I think you have cracked one of the most coveted jobs, and you have every right to be over the moon, Shochona.
Thank you so
And
much.
congratulations once again. My first question to you is: cracked it just in the first attempt, which is very rare. Though I'm not saying it's impossible. A lot of people do, but very rare. So, can you tell me if you know that what are the things that you did right that makes you feel that that's why you cleared it in the first attempt?
So first of all, it's not that I was completely new to the subjects. I had a previous base of economics and finance, like studying those topics. So those that thing helped. But what I think helped me was like I had a very structured preparation and I had a very clear strategy. Like I had chalked it all out, and that's I think that's the main thing that helped me. And I stuck to the strategy. I stuck to a limited amount of source and lots of revision, and I try to understand what is the requirement of the examination,
Hmm.
and thereby modeled myself in that way
Hmm.
in those months, like from January, February, those months. So I think that helped me, but I
So
still don't know the whole
when
thing.
you say you understand the requirement of the exam and all those things, so uh, did you consult your seniors or was there a study group or was it a total self effort by your side?
No, I wasn't part of any study group at that point, so it was kind of like self preparation.
Hmm. Hmm. And how did RBI happen? I mean, how did you come to know about RBI from your
I
UPSC colleagues?
I think during studying something or watching some videos or something, I came across this in mid January,
Hmm.
and then I heard that a notification will come out, and then
Hmm.
I looked into details of this examination,
Hmm.
and I also read about like what the job profile is, and
Hmm.
I knew about RBI, but I
Hmm.
did not know in detail like all the
Uh-huh.
functions and everything. RBI is a,
Hmm.
and as I came to know, I realized that it has like diverse functions, and it is very
Hmm.
very important in the economy, and
Hmm.
it's not just notes and banks. There are lots of angles to what RBI does. It's uh, what can I say, उसके बिना हो नहीं सकता, like नहीं चलेगा कुछ तो इसीलिए like I realized that it is this position is also a very good place to work in, to
Hmm.
serve the country. And so I thought कि नहीं अभी थोड़ा फोकस प्रिपरेशन करते हैं, वैसे भी पैंडेमिक चल रहा था, सेकेंड
Hmm.
वेव आ सकता था, तो एक बार तो एग्जाम डिले हो चुका था
Hmm.
यूपीएससी, तो आई थॉट इस बार भी लाइक काफी पॉसिबिलिटी है डिले होगा.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
let's just give a few months at least for phase 1, phase 2.
Hmm.
Let's see if I crack it. If I can't, then I will again attempt next year.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this just happened then.
And see, when we prepare for any exam, we put a lot of effort. And then there is no certainty that we are going to make it. So that added pressure that what if I am not able to? Because you are not able to crack UPSC also. And then
No, I
suddenly
couldn't.
negative thoughts start coming in. What if
Will
I'm
not,
not able to
will
crack
not.
RBI? So there must be some pressure, there must be some stress. How do you handle it? I mean, how do you make sure that you are in best of your mental health?
So actually, like I had been like good in academics throughout my life, and
Hmm.
when I thought that at least I would crack the prelims in the first attempt, but then I
Hmm.
didn't. and it
Hmm.
was quite heartbreaking actually. But
Hmm.
it's like you start doubting your own capabilities, your own
Hmm.
quality. So
Hmm.
that thing happened, and after the police results, it was quite like I was very heartbroken. But then like I have my parents are very supportive. They have always been very supportive of me. Whatever I have wanted to do in my career, they have
Hmm.
always backed me. They've always helped me in every
Hmm.
possible way.
Hmm.
And I have a few select friends who always encourage me.
Hmm.
Like even when I don't believe in myself, they
Hmm.
do. So which made a big difference. And
Hmm.
it's due to them, their encouragement and their inspiration, that's
Hmm.
I'm here at this like here.
Very, very well summed up. Now, I just want to address two, three misconceptions that people have that people have in their mind. First is that some people do feel, though I think it has been addressed various times, that only people from finance background or a commerce background can crack RBI. Though numerous engineers have cracked this
Engineers,
year
yes.
by year. So, what is your take on that? How easy or difficult it is to cope up with the finance part during your RBA preparation?
So actually, RBI themselves like keep the eligibility that any graduate can apply for this examination. So that itself says that yes, people from any background can, if they give a good enough attempt, they can
Hmm.
crack this examination. And as far as the studies is related, of course, a lots of study and lots of hard work is needed, and you have to have very clear concepts of all the like every topic mentioned in the syllabus and apart from the syllabus also. So you have to have a very good base. That's like starters, and
Hmm.
then the next level is just practice for phase 1, practice for phase 2, practice for interview. So
Hmm.
first you need to have the base, like the concepts and the understanding and the knowledge, and then just build up on it.
Hmm.
And that can be done from a person of any background, be it science, be it arts, anyone. That's what I feel.
So it's not something a specialist finance.
No,
It's very generic finance. One can easily prepare for.
one
That
can
is what your
yes,
take on this is.
yes.
The next misconception that a lot of people have is that working candidates, that is the candidates who have experience, they are given more preference in the interview or in the overall selection process. Now again, you're a fresher, you don't have any
Hmm.
experience, and from your experience, maybe you must have met some people in the interview, and you must have some friends now who have already got selected in RBI. So what is your theory on this thing? That is it no that work experience is something of that kind that gives you a huge edge while preparing for RBI?
So actually, I myself also had this same doubt that even while during the interview, I used to have this like insecurity or uncertainty that I don't
Hmm.
have any work
Hmm.
experience. My last 2 years is completely blank.
Hmm.
So what if that negatively affects? Because
Hmm.
the ones who came to give the interview, they had like lots of experience,
Hmm.
be it in insurance or in banking. So lots of experience.
Hmm.
So that is a doubt that I also had.
Hmm.
But now here I am. So
Hmm.
I don't know. They must have seen something in me. So
Hmm.
I think, and also I was watching previous interviews of your channel and other channels. So
Hmm.
I saw that many candidates who do not have any work experience have got selected. So
Hmm.
I would say that no, it's not an essential
Hmm.
trait that they look
Hmm.
for. And if they had, I think that would also be one of the eligibility criteria. As I say, I think
Hmm. Yeah, that's
so.
right. I mean, see, to our viewers, I would just like to add, every year, a lot of people with WorkX, without WorkX, with gap years, without gap years, from finance, from non-finance. So people with diverse set of qualities, diverse set of profiles get in. It doesn't mean one is being given preference. All of you, I think, are in equal footing till phase 2 because there is no filtering. You just have to get
Yeah,
marks. And in the interview also, I don't feel that no, just by seeing on your resume that you have a work experience or a finance background, you will be given preference. So it's all about your present. How do you perform rather than what you have done in the past? Now, a related question, Shuchona, you said no, you had 2 gap years. So was
2 years.
there a question in the interview that what were you doing during all these gap years, or did they grill you?
No, I expected a question on those lines, but
Hmm.
fortunately, no, they did not ask me about my gap year. Although
Hmm.
I had like qualified CSIR net, so I
Hmm.
had a fellowship for a PhD, which I
Hmm.
had mentioned in the biodata.
Hmm.
But and so they not grilled. They asked me questions on that why I
Hmm.
did not join PhD, and they asked
Hmm.
me cross questions also. That what is the
Hmm.
difference between a good lab and RBI? So RBI is going to be like this. So
Hmm.
you could see, could get the same things in a good lab. So these things, like I had to counter with, logical, like some things that I believed in. So
Mhm.
those things, that is
Hmm.
what was asked.
And you cracked this exam as by self preparing. So I just want to add this disclaimer. So Shuchona was not part of our enrolled courses. She has been able to clear this exam through self preparation mainly, with some help of free material of EduTap and maybe from other sources. So Shuchona, you did self preparation, and with your UPSC background at your help, you started preparation in Jan 2021. So you just had almost like 70, 90 days. But if you look back, in your opinion, if one has to play safe, what is the minimum amount of time that should be given by UPSC aspirant to seriously prepare for RBI Grade B exam?
So I think if now that depends on like how much of experience does one have. If one is
Hmm.
giving UPSC for like 3 to 4 years, then
Hmm.
of course that person has a lot of, like, vast amount of knowledge.
Hmm.
So that person now just needs to clear the hurdle of phase one,
Hmm.
and the typing and the, like, some of the objective parts of phase two, more or
Hmm.
less prepared. But if
Hmm.
someone is like just starting out or is not from a UPSC background, then I would say the first, like, go through the syllabus and get all the topics, like know everything and
Hmm.
learn everything. The
Hmm.
learning part, the base that I was talking about, that is very important. So even, like, I think that the syllabus that is mentioned, that can be done from like 6 to 8 months before the
Hmm.
notification comes out.
Hmm.
So in that time, I think all the ASI and finance and management normal studying
Hmm.
should have been completed,
Hmm.
should be revised at least once.
Hmm.
And then after, like, before the phase one, you take 1 or 2 months to solely dedicatedly prepare for phase one, the GA and QRE parts.
But when you started your preparation, did you expect at that time that notification is going to come soon, or you planned like a 6 month preparation?
No, like my studying was like most of the things came from UPSC prep.
Hmm.
My ESI and finance part, I'm
Hmm.
talking about. The I started preparing sometime in January, and the whole of, like, half of January and the whole of February, I only prepared for phase one. I
Hmm.
only, like, I used to solve quant and reasoning all day and
Hmm.
a bit of English. So that, because that was kind of new to me,
Hmm.
and I do, like, teach a secondary school student, like I
Hmm.
teach them mathematics.
Hmm.
So mathematics, the knowledge part was more or less fine, but I had to practice on my speed was, I had accuracy but not enough speed. So for that, I gave a lot of mock tests, including yours and other institutions as well. So those mock tests helped me in the quantum reasoning.
Right. So we will move on to this quant and reasoning part. So let's discuss about the phase one strategy in a very holistic manner.
Hmm.
So first, I'll start with quant and reasoning itself, since we were discussing about that. So in content reasoning, what was your approach? Was it doing chapter by chapter in detail by solving all the questions given in some books? Or was it kind of a reverse engineering where you solved a lot of mock tests, understood the concepts from the test, and then kept improving? So what was your approach?
So it was the latter one. I
Hmm.
just took like downloaded a lots of past year's question papers, including
Hmm.
other bank exams as well, SBI PO, IBPS PO, the higher difficulty level ones. I
Hmm.
just downloaded them. I started practicing,
Hmm.
and then I once I understood, like, what types of questions are asked, what are my areas of deficiency, like knowledge deficiency, or what are my wrong approaches. Once I at first I identified those areas, like what I need to work on, then I practiced quantum reasoning. I'm just specifically talking about quantum reasoning. So I practiced those at home, and then I started giving mock tests. Like I gave a lots of mock tests, like 20, 25, might be more than that.
So
So I
they were full length mock test or
full
sectional
length
test?
mock tests. No,
Full
no,
length
full
mock
length
test.
mock test. Full length mock test. Actually, full length mock test, I thought that since I'm giving it, like, the total, like, it helps you, like, section your time, as well
Hmm.
as, switch from one section to the other, because
Hmm.
the timer also goes like that.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
would help me in a holistic preparation,
Hmm.
and the English would get practiced as well, because my English was more or less strong, but still I needed practice in
Hmm.
a examination setting. So then I gave mock tests, and then what I decided was that I realized that I can't solve all the questions, like,
Hmm.
even if there are, like, uh, you can't solve all the questions in quantum reasoning.
Hmm.
I have to leave a few, even if I don't want to.
Hmm.
So in that case, I realized that I better leave the ones which are not my strong points. Like,
Hmm.
I try to play to my strengths. And there are some types of sums in quant, like the ones in the, where I have to find the odd one out, or the series completion. Those are not really my strong points. Then in reasoning, there are some very complex sitting arrangement questions. So I decided that they are taking lots of time, or just I just can't like do them really well. So I just just left them completely during the examination. And this is what mocks help you. Like mocks enables you to understand these things, and what are my strong points, what should I attempt, what should I leave. And this is very crucial. It's not like I just, the question paper is open, the first question I see, I start solving it. No, I took up like 10 to 15 seconds. I searched for the ones that looked smaller, and the ones that looked easier, or the ones that I had practiced, like syllogism. I was good in syllogism and those areas. So I focused on those, my strong points, and I solved those. And like उन्हें करते करते ही time खत्म हो जाता है. और you should always like have a limit that इतना questions तो करना ही है. Like quant में, reasoning में अगर like 25 I want to attempt, और quant में 20 हो तो 15 I want to attempt. उससे थोड़ा कम ही होगा शायद, लेकिन target देना अच्छा होता है.
शिचोना, आपने एक बहुत सही बात कही कि it's better the sooner you realize that you are not going to you will not be able to attempt all the questions. You have to be selective. So how to develop that intuition that okay, this I will be able to do. So is it through practice, right? That you practice and then you realize these are the topics I can solve, these are the interesting topics, and these I'm never able to solve. Am I saying right? Is it through practice only?
Yes. This is only through mock tests. Like even if I'm doing like in just practicing at home, not doing the mock test, then I might solve it, but I might take like 2 to 3 minutes extra than I should have. So during mock test, you get to realize that no, I can only devote this much of time, and if this type of question is taking too long, then I should not just attempt it at all. So this can only be developed through practice and mock tests.
I think Shichona has brought up a very valid point. So I'll just like to add up. कई बार क्या होता है ना, हम क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते करते वी आर काइंड ऑफ इन ईगो कि यार ये क्यों नहीं सॉल्व हो रहा है, ये तो करना ही करना है.
बहुत होता था.
हाँ, तो वो आपका जो टाइम ले जाता है ना, वहां तो आपके मार्क्स आते ही नहीं. अगर आप भी गए, लेकिन यू हैव लॉस्ट अनदर 4-5 मार्क्स दैट यू वुड हैव ऑब्टेन्ड बाय सॉल्विंग अनदर सेट ऑफ इजी क्वेश्चंस इन 5 मिनट्स. तो ये आपको बहुत ना अपनी ईगो पे कंट्रोल रखना पड़ेगा. बी प्रैक्टिकल दैट द आइडिया इज टू मैक्सिमाइज योर स्कोर. इट्स नॉट टू सॉल्व एवरी क्वेश्चन. बस वो आपको एक साइकोलॉजिकल बैरियर है कि जो आपने पढ़ा नहीं वो आप छोड़ने के लिए तैयार हैं, जो पढ़ लिया है उसको आप छोड़ नहीं रहे हैं कि यार ये तो करना है, ये तो मुझे आता है. So be practical.
Actually, and they don't. Yeah.
No, just continue, please.
No, actually, they don't give you marks for like solving every question, or they are not testing your knowledge chapter wise. They just want to see how much marks you can score in that small amount of time. So in that sense, you just have to like the ego that you said. I also had that. That I used to be so good at this. Now I can't really solve this in enough time, like adequate time. So, but I just thought that no, this is not a smart thing to like have.
और जैसे शिचोना ने कहा कि they are not testing you to solve every question, and yes, they are testing your knowledge, but at the same time they are testing your time management skills. Because in this entire world, if there is one resource for which there would always be constraint, that is time. तो वो जानबूझकर आपको 20 या 25 मिनट में 30 क्वेश्चन दे रहे हैं, डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन दे रहे हैं, बिकॉज दे वांट टू टेस्ट यू कि आप प्रैक्टिकल हैं. Can you manage your time in a sophisticated manner, in a no thoughtful manner? So that is the idea behind that. Anyways, I think we have discussed enough on content reasoning. I'll move on to the GA part, Shichona. So in the GA part, which is very vast, there is no end. It's like an ocean. So what were the selected sources you preferred while you started preparing for GA?
So for GA, many of the GA current affairs also overlap with ESI and finance. Finance current affairs is less, but most of it with ESI. So I actually subscribed to the Affairs Cloud, the GA compilations, and I studied from that. I started from February, and then I went to January, then December, then November. I did, I think, 5 to 6 months I tried. And the backwards you go, the cost benefit just decreases. And so and since I had less time, I just stuck to 4 to 5 months. And I read the topics, and then I revised them once. I highlighted the sentences that, the keywords and the key informations. And then I think I watched a lot of like those MCQ videos. There are like lots of them on YouTube, and I watch them on 1.5x. Like I increase the speed to, to save time. And those videos like help me in revision. So that's what I did.
And did you solve a particular set of MCQs to retain or to practice the GA part?
Yeah, those MCQs were practiced from mock tests only. Like mock tests also show you that how many, like there are different types of angles from which a question can come. Suppose I read this angle, but the question comes from a different angle. And also the calculated guesswork, that skill that you have to develop, that also comes from practice. So my practice was mostly through mock tests and just studying.
Intelligent guesses.
Intelligent guesses, yes.
So had you any specific strategy for revision? Because again, when you read so much, at the back of your mind, it's always running that, क्या वो याद है यार मुझे? Because I keep receiving calls. Sir, याद नहीं है, पुराना भूल गए हैं. So what is the solution to that?
So for revision, what I did was I tried to revise whatever I had read 1 week earlier. Say this Monday, I'm memorizing something. I try to revise that, like see if I recollect it 1 week later. So that kind of helped me. And I would say that I would like reserve all the facts like GDP growth rate or fiscal deficit or inflation, the ones that at them like most current the data. I reserved all of those for like 1 or 2 days just before the phase 1, so that they are like fresh in my mind and I don't confuse them with other figures and facts.
Great. So anything else you would like to add to the phase 1 preparation that you did now and that can be beneficial for the aspirants that would be watching your interview?
So actually, I think budget and economic survey, these 2 documents, and since the exam was in March, they came sometime in January and February. These are very important and you have to like go in detail of these 2 documents, and lots of facts and figures needs to be memorized. And as well, the main thing that I realized was that you have to analyze your mistakes. Like most of us, we give mock tests, but do not analyze our mistakes. What I did, I used to solve like 2 mock tests per day, one in morning, one in afternoon, and I saw where am I am going wrong, both in points, reasoning, and the other 2 sections as well. So analyze your mistakes and work on them, because otherwise the mark, like you won't be able to solve all of them or get past the cutoff.
Fine. So I think that pretty good sums it up. So guys who are doing self-preparation, I would just summarize again what she did. She downloaded some free mock tests, used to practice them again and again. And am I right? Around 20 to 25 mock tests you attempted, right? Yeah.
Not just the free ones. I subscribe to the EduTap and other source institutions as well.
Okay. So a lot of mock test is the call of the day. If you feel you're good, otherwise you can refer some books. Suchona, do you know any good book on quant reasoning?
I have heard of R.S. Agarwal, but I have downloaded it also, but I did not get time.
Okay, she did not need it, but you can refer R.S. Agarwal, and I can also vouch it's a very good book in case you want to do self-preparation for reasoning. For quant, Arun Sharma is a good book. And then for GA, she referred Affairs Cloud. She watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and she attempted a lot of MCQs. So that was her strategy for phase 1. Now I'll move on to phase 2. So Suchona, in phase 2, first of all, now the pattern changed this year. Descriptive almost is now worth 200 marks in the whole scheme. So one has to now prepare for objective part and the subjective part in ESI and in finance and management. Now these are like going in 2 different directions. I mean, for objective part, you need to understand it conceptually, and then you depend upon your recognition part, that in the exam, from seeing the options, you will be able to understand that, okay, I read this, I remember this. But for descriptive, it's more of a recall. They will ask you, say, tell me various types of poverty or something like disadvantages of Herzberg theory. There you need to recall at least 7-8 points. So how can one manage reading the same content from the objective perspective and from the descriptive perspective? And the time is always limited, right?
Yeah. So I think when you the material is same. Like when you're reading something, just read the whole thing. Previously, if there was only objective, you just focused on the facts and the figures and the full forms and everything. But now you have to focus on both. So just read everything, but the facts and the full forms, just mark them separately or write them down separately. Like writing in your own notebook, that also helps a lot of time, because while just reading is one thing, but when you're writing something on your own, then like copying some information, then that also like gives you extra edge.
Hmm.
So I would say for objectives, just write down all the facts and figures someplace else and revise them quickly later on. And while reading the main document, you just have to, now since there's this descriptive, you have to read the whole thing. And there's no selective, nothing like that. So yeah, that way it can separate those two. But the
So-
objective part also has like lots of like the latest updates in government schemes, PM Kisan and other schemes. What are the latest things happening? So those have to be prepared separately from any compilation, like GA compilations or specific ASI compilations. So those are objective oriented. But when you're reading about a main like documents or articles or any study material, then you have to read the whole thing, but note the facts separately.
Good. I think that's a very smart answer. Now, in the descriptive part, continuing with the discussion, now there is a new element of typing. I mean, most of the people, even if they are used to descriptive writing, it's on pen and paper. Now, typing is something, you have to type on a computer. You cannot express yourself through flowcharts.
No,
You cannot draw diagrams.
No.
So at times it becomes very challenging to express yourself. You have understood Maslow theory, suppose, and there's a question on Maslow theory. The first thing you will do is you will draw that pyramid.
Yes.
Here you can't express yourself. So first of all, now what is the good way to write an answer? Because you can't draw flowcharts and diagrams. Should one write point wise or something like that? Second is how to practice typing itself, typing speed and all that thing, because you are required to type now, not write. So first is how to manage your typing skills, typing speed, or getting adjusted to all this thing. And second is how to express yourself while typing your answers.
So you're absolutely right. There's no flowcharts or diagrams, and in UPSC, many people rely on those. And I have also practiced a few main answers, and I also use them. But in this case, you just only have to express via words. And but the structure is like whenever you're asked of some topic, just introduce that topic. So if you speak about poverty, then define poverty, then move on to the like the body and the conclusion. But as you said that points like, and there's no provision of giving bullets in that examination, but I think of course point wise helps a lot, is rather than paragraphs. And always organize your answers. But what I did in my like phase 2 was that whenever I saw a question, suppose the finance commission the question, so I saw finance commission and I know all the like the horizontal devolution, those percentages, I remembered them. So I just quickly wrote them down in the paper that I just provided. So that helped me, and that freed me of remembering them later, and I can focus think about other points and other angles right now. And same thing I did for other answers as well. I just wrote a structure in the examination hall, in the paper that was provided. I wrote down a structure that these are the points that I have to write, and so a basic structure is formed, and then I start typing it. And typing also has another advantage, that when I'm writing, like I have to write it continuously. I can't insert graph or other points in between. But here I can do that. So even if I forget something and I remember later, say, yeah, ये sentence भी लिखना था, ये point भी लिख देना चाहिए था, so I can go back and insert it. So having a clear, read the question well, what is the exact requirement of the question? Is it like definition, analysis, or summary, or what is exactly asked? Then think about it a bit. Don't just start typing right away. I saw that during the exam, everyone was सबने first time shift हुआ और सबने type करना शुरू कर दिया. And the sound was defeating, all of those keyboards typing. But I was thinking, ये सब इतना जल्दी क्या लिख रहे हैं? कुछ तो सोच लो. तो मैंने वही किया. तो I took a couple of minutes. First, you have to choose which questions I'm going to answer, how much I know, and how in which question I can express in the best possible way. First, you choose them, and then you just form a structure in the paper, I would say, and then start typing. And of first day, give the introduction of the topic, even if it's not asked. You just give an introduction. It ease the examiner into your answer, and then start whatever the body, and give as many points as you can, and break up your answer into smaller segments, because it's going to be long. And so that is a good way, I think, to express.
And what about the importance of facts or examples while writing your answer?
Very much. So think of any reference you can give of any latest reports any latest like NSO study or NSO stat, recent ones, latest 1 or 2 months, anything from budget, anything from economic survey, anything which you can remember, just write it down. And these are very important. They just enrich your answer, and the examiner knows that yes, this person knows her stuff. And the word limit was also another big issue. Like we did not know beforehand what was the word limit. And exam mein jaake dekha to 400 words, 600 words. That was quite a shocker, actually.
No, you did not know because it was released before the exam itself that the word limit is 400 for 10 markers and 600 for 15 markers.
Oh, okay. Then I must have missed it.
You must.
So I did not know, and that was quite a shocker.
Were you able to stick to the word limit, or you wrote less than the mentioned word limit?
I wrote less. I think I reached the word limit for 1 or 2 answers, but not more than that. But I thought that because typing is a difficulty, plus like elaborating your answer into that, like stretching your answer to that level. But I realized that I should focus on my content more than the length, because if I give like good enough points and I explain them well in a lesser word limit, then I think the content should override the length of the answer. They want knowledge. They don't just want length. So I thought, let us express what I know well. Word limit बाद में देख लेंगे. अगर होता है तो होता है, नहीं तो
Exactly, that should be the spirit. अभी हम कुछ subject wise strategy discuss करेंगे बहुत brief में. I think we've already consumed a lot of time. FM, आप अपने sources बताइए मुझे सबसे पहले. Finance के और management के. If websites, then websites. If books, then specific books.
So for finance, so majority of the part was done from my civil deputation, like regulatory bodies and finance commission and all those parts. And for management, what I did was I downloaded the books mentioned in the book list, Stephen Robbins and D.N. Ghosh. So from these books, I made notes myself. I know I had very limited time, but I thought if I read from the books, first of all, I did not understand, like I did not know it was a completely new subject. So I thought, let me go to the books. I went to the syllabus. I found every topic, like leadership, motivation, types of leadership and everything. And I put the keywords in the search bar of the PDF, and I just searched and searched the relevant chapter. And I read the chapter. I made my own notes from it. So in this way, this like worked for me really well, because in this way I could read it, understand it at one go, as well as the notes that I made would help me in very quick revision later on. And the day before phase 2, I devoted the entire day only for management. I revised all of the things because it was new to me. I devoted an entire day, and I remember I just read the corporate governance, all the points that I had compiled. I had compiled lots of points. So I read the corporate governance the evening before, and the morning later I saw the exact defined corporate governance and what are the principles. I could write very well good answer for that. So yes, I think reading and then like making notes helped me a lot myself.
Apart from these books, did you refer any other material, any free material for your finance and management preparation?
So yes, for finance, like for numericals, and there were some other topics that I did not know, like derivatives and some topics like that. I referred to many like online free content, including EduTabs. In your the PDFs were available in your Telegram group. So I referred to those content, the Basel norms, the details of the Basel norms. All of that we don't cover in UPSC in such detail, like all the ratios and everything. But I did them from the like PDFs compilations.
Great. And now, what is the weightage of numerical in FM? Do you think, is it worth the time spending time on preparation of numerical while you're preparing for RBI Grade B?
So now that the objective part has like got halved, and it's only 50%. So I don't think it has the weightage it had before. I think the weightage has reduced a lot. But still, one could like practice a few sums and go through all the formulas. I think that should help. But,
yeah. Fine. So now we shall move on to the ESI part, Suchona. So ESI, I think ESI static, you must have read or covered all that part in your UPSC preparation. So that must not have been a big deal for you.
So the basic was known, but the level of detail in which the individual, it was asked in phase 1 and phase 2, like the budgetary allocations and all the facts and figures, all those were not really needed for UPSC. But here I had to cover them, all of them separately, like existing schemes, but new data coming up every month. So those I had to do, I take from different compilations, like a test cloud or even ESI summary sheets.
So current affairs and the factual part related to various
Yes,
aspects
yes.
was the main
Those I
challenge.
did was
Hmm.
the main challenge.
So in current affairs, as per you, what are the pillars or what are the areas one should focus on in ESI?
So ESI, everything like government schemes are very important. All the
Hmm.
government schemes by finance ministry, and the ones that are in like come up in news a lot, like
Hmm.
have been in news in for the past 4 5 months. Those are important. Anything that relates to RBI, like any function of RBI, including financial inclusion or any function. So
Hmm.
any scheme related to that, those are very important. Any report or any studies or any statistics that have come up recently, labor force or agricultural production
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
industrial production,
Hmm.
those things one has to cover those
Hmm.
percentages and everything.
Hmm.
They have
And
should be given more importance.
and what about reports?
Reports are also very
Hmm.
important because one question did come from the OECD report, one like five or 7 marks. So
Hmm.
yes, reports have to be covered.
So what kind of reports one can focus on or give priority to?
So the reports by World Economic Forum or World Bank, IMF, these are the major bodies,
Hmm.
and they publish very like important and popular reports.
Hmm.
Those are the ones that should be focused most.
Hmm.
Like,
Fine.
lots of more reports come up also, but
Hmm.
one has to prioritize.
One has to prioritize because time is always
Time
limited.
is always limited.
Anything else you want to add to your ESI preparation that is worth mentioning?
So no, more or less these the basics and the currents both have to be like combined. And while writing also, you have to like incorporate as many facts
Hmm.
from the current affairs, like the budgetary allocation has gone up or gone down. So these are the
Hmm.
issues.
Hmm.
These can be solved in this way. So
Hmm.
those things have to be incorporated.
Great. And now moving on to the descriptive English part, Suchona. In descriptive English, first of all, what was your order of attempt with respect to Prezi, RC, and comprehension?
So for press, I think I attempted Prezi first, then RC, and I kept essay for the last.
Hmm.
Uh, Actually, the essay word limit was lot less than the descriptive questions word limit.
Hmm.
The essay I say attempted last, and for Prezi, the rules of Prezi, like Prezi writing, like the write it in your own words, do not cross the word limits. Those have to be followed really well. And also Prezi also, I think I wrote the basic structure on the paper. Like
Hmm.
I want to add these points. So this is the summary of the first few lines, then the summary of the first few lines, like just the points.
Hmm.
And then I would elaborate on those points on in my own language.
Hmm.
So I followed that approach, and RC was okay, decent. And for essay, I actually attempted that why coding should not be like the problems of teaching coding to children.
Hmm.
That topic that was a like a hot topic last year, and lots of videos had come up on that. I had watched those videos, and I used that particular knowledge to like incorporate as much like information and what are the trends, what are the
Hmm.
pros and what are the cons,
Hmm.
and that in that way I just completed this.
So did you attempt essay first? What did you say? Or in the
No,
last?
essay was the last.
So what was the reason for that and any logic behind that?
Because essays take up a lot of time.
Hmm.
Like you start thinking, should I write it in this way or that way, and you correct it, you like you delete it, you write it again. So since essays do tend to take up a lot of time, so you should not practice it. Like I do not never write essay in the first question, because they will take up more time than you should. Than I should.
That's a very good logic. I'll just explain that in a better way. Why not to write essay first? See, essay is a one set of question in which say you have to write 400 words. So even if you write 300 words there, or you can quickly add 40-50 words when you are writing something, right? I mean, it doesn't take time to write a word. But on the other hand, in comprehension, if you leave say one question, 5 marks are gone. If you leave 2 questions, 10 marks are completely gone. You will get 0 out of that. So rather than attempting comprehension in the last, it's always better to write an essay at the last, because in essay, even if you are not able to write last 2-3 lines, maybe they will not deduct even a single mark, right? So please try to go with this logic if you feel comfortable. But yes, everybody has their own strategy. If you feel that essay is the first one to be written because it is worth 40 marks, then it's up to you.
So
And
essay is 40, but the rest of the 2 questions add up to 60. So you should be like more focusing more on the 60 than the 40.
yes. And any strategy for time management, as in this much minute I have to write Prezi, and in this much time I have to attempt my comprehension.
For English, I did not have any strategy as such, but for ESI and FM descriptive, since there was, as far as I remember, 1.5 hours for like, and I had to attempt 4 questions. So mentally, I had decided that I would devote 20 minutes to each question, 20, so that makes up to 80, and the rest of the 10 minutes would be like spillover to hoga hi, like उस time limit में तो खत्म नहीं होने वाला. So spillovers plus revising the questions once, going through glancing over once. So in that way, I try to finish like, and I try to stick to the time. I think that also gives you the added pressure to finish it on time.
Okay. And Suchona, did you, I mean, this is with respect to descriptive part, whether in English, yes or FM, did you keep some time to revise what you have written in terms of grammatical or spelling mistake?
Yes, for English, I did that. I focus more on that while revising the spelling, and since it's an English paper. So English, I think I had time last 10 minutes, and in that time I revised. I don't think I could do that for ESI because it was like I had to write a lot. I did write while I did check after every question. In the end, no.
Fine.
I think one should practice while typing in your laptop. One should practice in Microsoft Word with the spell check off. And then just type all of it, and then just turn on the spell check and just see that how many spelling mistakes you have done. So in that way, one can catch the mistakes.
And this exercise I've recommended to a lot of people, and they call me back and they always tell that they're surprised to see that many of the common spellings that they are writing wrong, because we have now become habitual to this, that ये तो word अपने आप ठीक कर देगा, हमें पता ही नहीं लगता कि हम ये गलत लिख रहे हैं.
Even while typing in phone also, there's a spell check going on that actually reduces our skills to write proper spelling.
Exactly. Now, before I move on to the interview related questions, I just have 2 questions. One is, what is the importance of revision and how to manage that? Once you're covering so much large, it's a plethora of syllabus. If I have to talk very directly, how can one manage revision? Revising at regular intervals or completing the syllabus and keeping huge time for revision? What is your mantra?
So completing the whole syllabus and revising at the end, I don't think that it works like that. You would inevitably forget whatever you have read at the beginning. So I think you should break the thing, like the syllabus, up in sections. Read section wise and revise section wise. In that way you can, and of course practice questions after revising. So in that way, I think one can remember well.
And what is the importance of mock test in phase 2? How many mock tests you gave for phase 2?
For phase 2, I did not have much time. I think I gave 1 or 2, not many. But yes, phase 2, like mock tests are important both for the subjective and the objective parts. Mock tests will help you like for time management, and there's no provision of choosing questions here, but thinking and guesswork practice, all of that will be better by mock tests.
Fine. So आपका phase 2 अभी clear हो गया है. अभी interview पे चलते हैं. So Suchona, was it the first interview of your life, or you have given interviews before?
I have given, but this not for such examinations. So yes, examination wise, this was my first interview.
So were you scared?
Very much so. Like I was coming from a different background, my first attempt, no work experience. So I was quite uncertain if I would clear it or not, and also concerned about my performance. Bol bhi paunga ya nahi. So yeah, so for that I had to prepare a lot.
Did you read the transcripts before going to the interview?
Yes, not before. Like while starting, I began with watching previous year's toppers videos. Like editors' videos are very elaborate and detailed, and they help a lot actually. So I understood what they're looking for in the interview. Like tried to understand what they're looking for in the interview, and what is the approach that I should take. First, I watched videos, then I read the transcripts. And later I realized that I should not have read all the transcripts. Like I should have filtered the transcripts according to my own background, according to my own profile. Like they would obviously ask much more detailed and technical questions to a person who has been in banking for 4 or 5 years. So yes, filter transcripts according to your own profile, and then see what types of questions are being asked. Again, they were asking things that were relevant 2 years back, like current affairs of 2019. But of course, those won't be asked right now. But you get a feel of what angles they will ask current affairs from, opinion-based questions, So I should prepare in this way.
So was it more of a question and answer thing, or was it like a discussion and no cross questioning, then follow up questions on what you said? Was it like that?
In the beginning, it was a discussion,
Hmm.
but then it went into a question answer mode.
Hmm.
I tried to like steer my interview in a direction, but it wasn't successful. And but then they started on like random question answer mode.
कितना देर चला आपका interview?
It was 15 to 17 minutes.
15 to 17 minutes. And what did they ask you in the interview? If you remember something, maybe from HR related questions, some technical questions, some current affairs related questions.
So first they asked why I am not opting for a PhD. I have good academic background. And then there was a cross question, as I mentioned earlier. Then they asked what books I have read, and I try to say the name of a book, and I try to lead my interview in that particular direction from that book. But chairman sir did not take the hint, or he just ignored that thing. And then the other panelists started asking me questions. Then current affairs related questions were not really asked, just normal banking and economic questions, like asset construction companies, what are the need for them, why can't bank do the same function, and then asset liability management, what are the issues with LIBOR. In fact, I could not answer this particular question, but that what are the exact issues that LIBOR is being discontinued now? I did not know the exact issues, and I said that no, I don't know.
Yeah, please continue.
Yes, so this one I could not say, but the more or less it was question answer round. It was kind of like a viva. The later part.
Later part. I think they must be in a hurry by then. Maybe.
Yeah, it was almost the lunchtime.
And you said that you were not able to ask some of the questions in the interview. So is it perfectly okay to say no to an answer to a question?
That's also what I learned from like doing the sessions and the previous videos, that I should say no when I don't know. And actually in the mock interview also, I tried to like beat around the bush, not giving the exact answer. And like in the mock interview, they told me that just say no. And I did that in the actual interview. So I think it worked well.
And what, as per you, is the importance of mock interview?
Very much. Since I am just starting out and I have no prior experience of giving interviews, it was very, very important for me. I gave, I think, 3 to 4 mock tests, and the first one was very bad. It was like it was pretty bad. But eventually, I like realized what I'm going wrong and try to like not repeat them. I rehearsed in front of the mirror. I checked on my expressions because they said that your expressions you have to work on. So I tried to work on those, and then I gave EduTap's interview, and it was pretty good. They encouraged me a lot. They like motivated me a lot. It was a kind of the boost of confidence that I was needing. Then I gave one more, and then I stopped. Like I think it's also required. You need to understand when you have to stop with mock interviews, because once you have enough confidence that yes, I have got a hang of it, then you don't need to appear for multiple, like more and more. You have to stop also.
That's good. तो शुचोना, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपसे बात कर और I'm really thrilled to see somebody from MSc Biotechnology to clear this exam. Otherwise, we keep getting people, engineers, or some people from banking background, like who are working in private or public sector banks. But this is really somebody, I would say I'm amazed that with that background you could clear RBI Grade B. And I think the panel must have felt so also. Did they ask you about this, that you're from MSc Biotechnology, how come RBI? Did they ask you that or not?
No, why RBI? They did not ask me, but they did ask what attracts me most in RBI. And that was the last question. I think I gave a satisfactory answer. That then the interview was over.
Fine, Suchona. So anything you want to add before we sign off? Any last message to the candidates who are looking up to you now?
So I think if someone is coming from like a different background from me, I think the first thing like they have to I think I'm repeating myself, but they have to understand the requirement of the exam phase wise, and we have to like prepare accordingly and understand their own deficiencies, where that person is, like weaknesses and strengths, and like focus on that, strategize according to that. I think that could like help them clear.
That's right. Though she said she's repeating, but I think she's making the most relevant point that you can get out of this interview. That if you want to clear this exam, you need to understand what is expected in this exam, what kind of preparation is required in this exam, and that you can only do if you try to see the previous year papers, if you listen to the interviews of selected candidates, try to read the syllabus multiple times, because that is a kind of a window to you as in to decide that what is the scope of this exam. So Suchona, I really thank you to coming on our channel and sharing your strategy.
My privilege.
Yeah. So I wish you best of luck for your future career in RBI.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.